Hello and welcome to The Daily Juice. I'm your host Shardene Blake and this is your 10-minute pep talk before you start your day. Today I want to ask you the question, do you feel proud of yourself? Because for a long time I didn't feel proud of myself. I just told myself that I was rubbish. I felt because I hadn't achieved certain things that I thought I wanted to achieve, I wasn't worthy. I thought because I compared myself a lot to other people, and if I didn't meet the same standards or milestones as those people, I thought I wasn't worthy at all. And I just didn't have a really good self-image of myself. I didn't feel that I deserved things. And it's really important to acknowledge who you are, things that you've achieved, things that are important to you, because that contributes to your sense of self. And when you have that self-worth, it motivates you forward to achieve more, to go for the things that you want because you feel like you're worthy of them. So if you today think, do you know what, I don't really think that I've taken any time to celebrate myself ever, or perhaps just not recently. There's nothing really that I think I've achieved that's really worth anything, or you're finding it difficult to move forward because you feel like there's no evidence of you achieving anything in the past. Take some time to write down things that you've achieved. I actually did this exercise with the coach Amanda Brown, and she said write down 100 achievements in your life. And I couldn't, for the life of me, I think I thought of 4. And so my homework was to go home and think of those 100 things, and it made such a difference when I looked at them. And anytime I felt like I haven't achieved anything, or I feel like I don't think I'm ever gonna get to the point that I want to be at, I would have a look at this list and think, well, actually, look at all these things that I've achieved. And it could be even small things, like the time. Do you know what? I'm gonna find the list. Just wait there 1 minute. I'm actually gonna find the list. Got the list. I found it. So 100 of my successes so far. I'm not going to read them all out, but I'm just going to give you some examples because I feel like sometimes we underestimate the things that we've achieved. So things that I've got in here is I applied for and got into drama school. That was an achievement for me. And also you've got to think about my past self. So before I even thought about applying for drama school, I actually didn't even think it'd be an option for me. I thought, I don't know if I'm good enough for that. And I actually remember the change in mindset that happened. I just remember thinking, I think I'd watched something on TV and I'd watched an actress, and I just thought, not that the actress was actually brilliant, but I just remember thinking, you're acting on this show, like why can't I do it? And I remember that was my mindset. If that person can do it, I can do it. If there are hundreds of people out there doing it, then why can't I do it? And I remember that exact change in mindset that meant, I'm going for this. I'm applying for drama school. I can work as an actor. There's nothing stopping me doing this. Other people are doing it and I can do it. But prior to that, my mindset was that, how am I going to be, who am I to apply to drama school? Who am I to think that I can become an actress? That was my mindset, and I had a switch. So for me, that was like a massive success, huge. I had my children, I stayed at home with them. I passed my driving test. I didn't pass my driving test until 6 days before I gave birth to my daughter. I was 30 years old, I didn't drive, so I passed my test. That was amazing, passing that. I learned to play the flute. I play the flute. I've actually written, I turned up today. So it was at a coaching course, and I think I must have been really nervous about going. And so I turned up, and that was a success. And actually, you turning up for yourself today is a success, 100%. I've created healthy recipes. I stopped dieting. I was like a massive yo-yo dieter. I can't even tell you, my whole life revolved around finding a diet, normally in my nan's Take a Break magazine, binging on loads of food over a weekend, and then starting that diet on a Monday, and then sticking to it and being dead miserable, losing a few pounds, falling off the wagon, then binge eating all the food that I deprived myself of, and then feeling like utter crap and just telling myself I was totally worthless. Like the way I spoke to myself was actually appalling. But I was stuck in this constant cycle of, I'm too fat, I'm disgusting, I'm a pig, I can never be successful unless I lose weight. Oh, here's a diet, peanut butter diet or whatever the hell it was. I'll try that. This is miserable. Forget it. I'm having a kebab on a Friday night. Binge eat, feel disgusting. Ugh. What? And you know, that cycle just carried on, and I was stuck in it for about a decade at least, and I was so unhealthy. Mentally it was untrue, and I stopped that cycle. That was a massive success for me. To stop dieting was huge. What else? I'm a qualified fitness instructor. I've got a degree, I got a PGCE. I dance professionally when actually nobody thought I'd ever get paid to be a dancer. My dance teacher was like, no chance. You're too short, you're too fat. This was the early noughties, by the way, and he's just like, you've got no chance. I'm trying to help you, I'm trying to be realistic. But I just knew, I love nothing more than dancing, and I think it was that actual sheer passion that meant that I got paid to be a dancer. What else have I done? I've written here, got out of Blackheath. So that is a town that I grew up in, and I knew from a very early age that I had to leave. Like, I knew that I didn't want to stay, and I always said that, like, as soon as I'm old enough, I'm going. And I did it, and it's really funny because I met a lady years ago now at a networking event for theatre professionals, and she was from another town just down the road, and she actually said to me, congratulations, not many of us get out. And it's true, like, a lot of people do stay there, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but I didn't want that, so it was a success that I left that town. I've strengthened my mindset, definitely did that. I learned to love myself, huge success. Made new friends, which actually is really hard when you're an adult, isn't it? It's really hard to make new friends sometimes. I created a girl band called Crystal Clear when I was in high school. What else have I got here? I've performed stand-up comedy. I've even written down, I claimed PPI successfully. Like, that was a success. What else have I put? I worked my whole way through college and university, like, has sometimes had like 2 jobs on the go at the same time. Worked really hard. Built a blog at a time where I had literally no idea about the internet at all. I've organised kids parties, catered for those kids parties on my own, sometimes like up to 70 people. I've worked with kids from the town that I was born in, which was amazing. I've recorded voice reels, I've learnt special effects makeup. I'm going to tell you this one. Right, so I had a horrendous job when I first left uni. Horrendous, selling teeth whitening kits in a shopping centre. Totally against anything that I believe in right now. But at the time I was like, right, I need some money, I'll do it. It was the worst job of my life. I made about £20 in 3 12-hour days. So I managed 3 days selling these teeth whitening kits. And my next success was I quit the job selling teeth whitening kits. I've also got on here, I left a voicemail at 15. So that when I was 15, that was quite a big deal. It was for a job, an audition, and I didn't want to do it because I remember begging my mum, Mummy, please, will you leave this voicemail for me? And she was like, absolutely not. It was for an acting job, and that was part of the audition, I guess. So I had to leave this voicemail, but it was such a big deal to me that it's one of my successes. What else have we got here? I wrote books when I was a child, books about a character called Benny the Bear that I still have in my loft. And asking for advice from people is down here. There's so many things that actually, here I've put, I'm motivated to change. Things inspired people to change, to go vegan. That was a success to me. I've actually put down understanding Shakespeare, like all these things that might not seem like such a big deal. They're small successes because at one point I struggled with that thing, or I didn't even think I'd ever be able to achieve it. At one point I thought I was never going to pass my driving test, and that was mainly because I never really had lessons because I was so petrified of the whole process of it. So, but for some people it's always a success, but for some people it might have just been easier to do it. So, oh, actually, do you know what else I put on here? Learn to walk. That was a success. I learned to walk. I might have been a baby, but I learned to do it. So why don't you write a list of all of your successes, all of the things that you've achieved, and give yourself a little like pat on the back, have a little moment to celebrate yourself. And it gives more room for other things that you can succeed at. I'm definitely going to add some stuff to the list because I wrote this about 4 or 5 years ago now, so there's loads of stuff that I would add to it, but I just feel like it's such a great exercise, especially if you feel like you're stuck in the rut of, I don't know how I'm going to achieve something, or I'm not good enough to do that. All these things that I used to say to myself. When I wrote this list, I was like, actually, I've achieved a lot and I'm really proud of what I've achieved, and I want to achieve more stuff. I don't want this to be it. I don't want this to be the definitive list of everything that I'm going to succeed with in life. So get yourself a piece of paper, write yourself a little list, and you can keep adding to it, and just be pleased with yourself that you've done it, and just see and notice if it motivates you to want to achieve more. Right, that's today's Daily Juice, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.